All right, we're here back with DeltaValve at RefComm 2022, and we are here with not big reds over there. This is maybe little red, the top unheading valve.
Top head, red.
Just red. Still big, right? Still 30-inch diameter. So let's talk about this valve. You mentioned that it generally comes in a standard size, right?
Yeah, most top drum flanges are either 36 or 30 inches, and we manufacture this valve in both of those sizes. There's a lot of safety issues related to top heads, and Evan can speak to that better than anybody.
Yeah, so I mean, the old way was, of course, taking the bolts out and manually moving the head off to the side. There's also some other designs which are, I call them toilet lid designs, flip tops, what you're going to call them. But in all cases, you still have to do some sort of bolting, generally speaking. And when the individual comes up to the top head to do that activity, there's, of course, the risk of, exposure, right? Even though it's forced down and then lifted up remotely, there's still some risk there. One of the things that's really nice about this valve is it is truly a remote, fully automatic valve, and it gets the operator farther away. And that's kind of the point that is really important for us to consider, is that the whole direction of our industry is moving towards, getting the operator away. The fully automated coker is here, it exists, and there's really no reason to be doing, this manually these days.
Yeah, the temperature and pressure that exists still in the drum, even after you've quenched, there's the potential for hot cokes to still be in there, and so eruptions or blowouts can be very dangerous. And so, as Evan mentioned, this valve literally makes this system enclosed and remotely operated, and this really protects all of the operators from the contents of the drum and any potential risk.
And this slide valve in particular enables this thing, which is fairly unassuming, but it's actually quite an important safety device that is coupled to the top unheading valve, is the enclosure that holds the drill stem and the cutting tool. And this also acts as a centering device. So again, with the old manual system, you have to then, after you've lifted and taken it out of the way, generally speaking, somebody has to come back to the live coke drum, get back into that harm zone, and insert the drill stem, close the centering device, do all those things. But with this equipment combination, top unheading device plus enclosure, all that goes away. You don't have to do that ever.
Right. As Evan mentioned, this acts as a drill stem guide, keeps the stem centered, gives you full access to your cutting tool if you need to change it or do any kind of maintenance on it whatsoever. It's all enclosed within here. And if there ever was an eruption, it can contain and capture that energy. And there's a port on the backside which can be directed down to the pit to redirect that energy away from all the personnel here on the deck structure.
So how does this valve differ from the bottom unheading device?
Well, it's smaller, but the technology is the same. You've got live loaded seating inside. You've got a very smooth, flat nitrided gate, and
steam purges.
Steam purges keep the interior clean, as well as act as an additional seal for the valve. Works very similar to the platform technology that was first brought to market with the Bud. And this is the TUD, obviously the top valve, the center feed device, the isolation valve. It all uses the same fundamental
core technology, which is the sort of surprisingly monolithic center gate. It's massive.
Few moving parts, very smooth surfaces, very good coatings, very flat, and it just works in the service very well.
And this is one of those things that is a technology enabler, right? I mean, in my opinion, the future of delayed coking is the operatorless structure, right? I mean, we're sort of working in that direction. I mean, this is part of that puzzle. Other companies that offer other remote actuation systems for valves or for cutting, this is an enabler, right? What's interesting about the delayed coker is it is one of the only units in the refinery where people regularly work off the ground. I mean, everywhere else, people go up and down, they do inspections, operator rounds, but when you're, manually hunting a drum, it can take maybe 30 minutes, right? Something like this. But they're up there, they're doing things, and anytime you're on an elevated structure, there's a risk of something bad happening and that person having to egress immediately. So again, getting to the operatorless structure is, I think, where us as an industry is going. There are some sites that have actually made it there, but you can't do it without a system like this. So what do you think the future holds for this system? Like, what sort of improvements are you looking to make in the near future?
Well, there's always the potential of making this equipment smaller. If the drum flanges ever get reduced in size, we can scale this equipment down. That's not a big deal. In addition to that, we've had great success from the very beginning with this technology platform. So I don't see it changing very much. Actuator options are numerous. We can do hydraulic, we can do electric, we can do electro-hydraulic, which is a small captive hydraulic unit powered electrically. So we have a lot of flexibility in the design for whatever meets the specific needs of the customer. But the fundamental core technology is solid, it's proven. Millions and millions and millions of safe cycles without hydrocarbon breach to atmosphere. That's the key.
Well, I just want to.
Experience is very unique in the industry.
I just want to reiterate the point. I mean, there are some sites that still have, manual unheading, and they actually have H2S exposure. Like, we do our best to quench the drum properly, but sometimes there's a little left in there. And some of these sites, they actually would do unheading the drum with under SCBA. And as far as I can tell, that's totally unacceptable in 2022.
Yeah, hopefully we've moved beyond those days.
We can do better. We can do better.
And we have to do better.
This is part of that puzzle. This is part of that equation. And thank you, Troy, for sharing that with us here at RefComm. It's another excellent show. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Evan.
All right.
Appreciate your help and your time, and what a great conference this has been.
Thank you. We appreciate it.